Hi, this is Savannah,
And this is Brian from the Dorky Diva Show,
and you're listening to Star Wars.
the best place for below average Star Wars.
The Dorky Diva Show presents
Why is this seat so much more comfortable?
the long-awaited sequel to the adventures of the Zolan Dart audio drama.
Have you seen the captain's datapad?
Trying to work, Murph.
Piloting the Zolan Dart by himself,
You do understand the details of this particular job, correct?
I've been on plenty of jobs like this. With you!
Reldar Sias returns to a planet he thought he'd left behind for good.
Is there a reason you didn't mention I was tagging along?
Hopefully having you there will make others think twice about messing with me.
Making new friends
Oh, you must be the pilot of the Zolan Dart, yes?
I guess I am.
and reconnecting with old ones,
Reldar?
Vera?
What are you doing here?
until past grudges resurface.
I'd be minding my own business if I were you.
Well, if your business wasn't being handled right in front of my face, maybe I could mind my own business. We have to leave. Now.
Why the rush all of a sudden?
We're in trouble.
If it isn't little Reldar Sias.
Hey, Yorick. Long time no see.
Roz already knows you're here.
Oh,
Look who decided to come home.
Reldar must confront his origin,
I must admit, I never saw this as being a part of your past, Softshell.
or let it define his future.
I will get what is owed to me, no matter the cost.
because what Roz is trying to do is wrong.
Says you.
My blasters, we're going to need these. Take that, Sleemo.
Who do you think you are?
The Adventures of the Zolan Dart, Episode 2, coming soon.
Welcome to Star Wars, best place for below average Star Wars.
Hello there, and welcome to the Star Wars Show, the best place for below average Star Wars. I am the Geordie Jedi Pete,
I'm Carrie Zielka.
And I am the Canon Junkie XL Ian.
and we are here to break down Star Wars Outlaws. It came out the blue from the Ubisoft convention. Star Wars Outlaws is a brand new open world Star Wars game. It's going to be set in Star Wars canon. We've got new characters. We might have new planets and old planets. The thing just looks crazy and excellent and good. And not only have we had a trailer, a world premiere of the trailer, we've also had a gameplay, like a good 10-minute gameplay video get released. And we've also had some sort of behind the scenes sort of, I wouldn't say making of doc, but like making of little vignettes as well, which we'll all be talking about. But first of all, I mean, let's go to you first, Ian. Sort of, what were you doing when all of a sudden this game came on your radar as being a thing?
So yeah, I was playing my Xbox the other day, and it flashed up on my screen saying, "Oh, do you want to watch the Xbox Live showcase?" I was like, "Go on then," because I wanted to see all about Starfield, because they were doing a big pitch about Starfield, which is a new game for Xbox. So they were going through the trailers, and all of a sudden, you see Lucasfilm Games, and then you obviously hear X-Wings and that, and it was like, "Oh wow!" And then originally, I don't know why I thought, because I just saw X-Wings and TIE Fighters, I thought maybe it's an announcement for a new Battlefront game. But then obviously we saw the Massive Studio, which is the one who is doing the open world game from Ubisoft. So yeah, I was taken out the blue. I wasn't expecting any new Star Wars games or anything like that. And super excited. I think this is the first Star Wars game that's obviously not done by EA for the first time in 10 years. So really happy that that's opening up and we're getting more studios doing more games. And yeah, the cinematic trailer looked really good. Like I said, I never really judge anything on a cinematic trailer. And then we got the gameplay straight after, which really helped, obviously, build my hype, because I actually saw how the game would work and how it would look like on the screen, if you know what I mean.
And Kat, were you aware of this game before you were aware of it? It sort of hit me out the blue, is why I'm asking you that question, I suppose.
I think I'd seen some rumors on Twitter that there was something supposed to be dropping during the Xbox showcase, but I wasn't expecting like a full trailer of a game that is very much polished and ready to release. So it was surprising, but a welcome one.
Indeed. So I was sort of just doing nothing really. You know, I was just chilling out. Had a few things on my mind. You know, I've been doing a bit of housework and stuff. Then obviously, all of a sudden, like Star Wars Outlaws, I see, you know, something's going to be there. And then the trailer's there. I was at watch the trailer straight away. And the next day, I was at watch the gameplay. So it came out the blue. And I think what you said about it being polished, yeah, you know, we've had not only have we had the sort of the world premiere of the trailer, which sort of shows us a polished story, but then, you know, they've released that gameplay, which shows us sort of polished gameplay, and with the release date of 2024, some point that, so, you know, it's coming next year, essentially. You know, we're already sort of halfway through this year. So, you know, depending on when it comes out, you know, we could be looking at less than 12 months before we get our hands on this game, which could be fantastic. I just want to start with the trailer, sort of the world premiere trailer. Ian, what were your overall thoughts on just like on watching the trailer for the first time?
I was really obviously caught the blue, so it was good to see. I was thrown really good to see how many crime syndicates may be in the game. I thought it looked really cool. I liked the look of the lead character. It was cool to see Jabba the Hutt and Han Solo. So obviously sets up the time period, obviously the time period between Empire and Return of the Jedi. So yeah, no, really, really, really excited. I really enjoyed the trailer and everything. It looked like we got a couple of the planets potentially maybe in the game. So yeah, it really did excite me. And then obviously I saw straight after this as well, gameplay revealed tomorrow. So that really kept me going.
And Kat, your overall thoughts after you'd finished watching the world premiere trailer for the first time?
I was really impressed by that trailer. It's just this sweeping sense of the galaxy. I mean, they advertise it as the first open world Star Wars game, and you can see that just in like the 2 minutes they showed in that cinematic trailer, with the multiple planets and these connections to all across the Star Wars saga, like the Pike Syndicate, the Hutts. We see Han Solo and Carbonite. We see the Empire, and we see planets that are familiar. We see planets that are unfamiliar, and it just really captured that sense that you will be able to explore a huge chunk of the galaxy following more or less your own story. And yeah, it totally excited me. It also excited me that I can play as Cave S and play as a female scoundrel, which was really cool.
Yeah, I think, you know, after watching the trailer, which you know the trailer is very Star Wars, but also had lots of elements of sort of new things and old things in there. But then after watching the gameplay, for me, it was like, wow, like I'm actually gonna be able to like crawl around like these places, these old abandoned hangar bays, these hives of scum and villainy, these villages. And a mission might come up, and that be more than one way to do a mission. You can choose to do that. Obviously, the gameplay we saw acting quite stealthy until she got spotted and it wasn't stealthy anymore. But yeah, I mean, even what your thoughts when you know after watching the trailer, you know, we've heard that, but from getting the trailer and then actually getting the gameplay, you know, as you said, you do tend not to judge a book by its cover till you see the gameplay type of thing. You know, the game by its cover. What were your thoughts once you got the gameplay? You're like, right, I'm in. This is actually going to be good.
Yeah, the gameplay really, really struck me. I've seen comments from the devs that say that you can approach missions in multiple ways. You can use stealth. That has a effect on your reputation meter with the syndicates, which is a really cool thing. Obviously, she got caught for the demonstration purposes in the gameplay trailer because obviously she wanted to show off what it would look like to use a blaster and all that type of thing. There's a couple of nice touches in that first bit of the gameplay trailer as well. There was a mining guild TIE fighter that was seen in Star Wars Rebels with the yellow with the clipped off wings and that was really cool. And also, I did like when they shot the. There's always red barrels in all games in it that obviously set people on fire. I did like the fact when they shot the red barrels here, it did blow up like Rhydonium would blow up, which I thought was a really cool touch. That was really awesome. Obviously, she fought her way through the hangar out onto the thing, out onto a speeder. I really liked that. And then I really enjoyed that opening bit of the trailer where we got to see off like the stealth mechanics. The obviously her using her companion Nyx, who's voiced by D. Bradley Baker as well, which is a nice little touch. And I really enjoyed that opening bit of the trailer where before obviously she got on the speeder bike and tried to get away.
Yeah, I think let's dive into the type of game this is going to be. So as you said, Kat, it's been sort of advertised as the first open world Star Wars game. Now I'm pretty sure Star Wars Galaxies was open world, but Star Wars Galaxies was also like an online only like RPG as well, I believe. So for me, it probably is the first ever open world game as opposed to a canon storyline that's going to be sort of very similar to games like Red Dead Redemption. And some of the gameplay to me reminded me of Red Dead Redemption, but also reminded me a little bit of Uncharted. I don't know what your thoughts are on how the gameplay looked and what type of game we're getting, Kat.
Well, I don't think I've actually ever played an open world game, come to think of it. Almost all the ones I play are single player with a sort of semi-set storyline. So it's going to be quite exciting because as a open world game, it'd be interesting to see how this is as like an entry level one. And I think just comparing this trailer to what we played in Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, even though it's completely different developers, I could sort of see some similarities as well because Nyx, as we've just mentioned, is Kay Vess's companion. He's this little animal called a Merkal, and I think he's basically going to be the BD1 of this game. Sort of your companion helping you to solve puzzles and get out of tight spots during missions throughout the game, which is going to be really nice. I think when you're sort of focusing on one character, it's great to give them a little sidekick. But yeah, it does seem to be combining a lot of different sort of game styles. And from what we've seen in this walkthrough, this gameplay walkthrough, the graphics look truly impressive. They look even better than Jedi Survivors.
Definitely. I think for me, the graphics look, I think the cinematic trailer look, like out of this world, fresh, almost like I'd happily watch all the cutscenes put together as a movie. But then the gameplay just looks so smooth and so detailed. And I think Iain brought up, that sort of that mining guild TIE fighter, and also like the A-wing getting destroyed, getting sort of stripped for parts. Looked fantastic. What's your thoughts, Iain? Obviously on the type of game we're going to get. Obviously I know you're familiar with games like Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft Auto, that are open world.
To me, it looked like Grand Theft Auto in space, which looked really cool. I love the fact that you can go from a mission onto your speeder and then into your ship and fly off into the atmosphere, and obviously have no loading screens or anything like that. The game, I think, is like you say. I think it's going to be based a bit around like Red Dead Redemption, all that type of games, where you obviously have set up and worlds and all that type of thing. Yeah, no, really, really excited to get out there and explore. I'm super excited by some of the planets that may or may not be in the game. And I really enjoy like the wanted level. I like the fact that they're going to treat the Empire like anyone who's played Grand Theft Auto. You obviously have wanted level, and the higher it goes, the more the police throw at you. So it'll be good to see how that works and how much the Empire will throw at you and what that most wanted level looks like. Will it be like a Star Destroyer in space, and on the ground would it be like a ATST or an AT-AT coming after you? That'll be a really cool thing to see.
Definitely, that was one of the things I thought in the gameplay trailer, with the Empire coming after her, and then she chose to like leave the planet to get away. You could see the Imperial shuttle coming into land as she was driving a speeder bike to her ship, which to me was like, I wonder what happens if you choose to stay on the planet. Obviously, I wonder how hot, like how many troops are inside that Lambda class shuttle, things like that. Really, really exciting. Obviously, moving on to the type of game we're going to get. Obviously, timeline and canon, I suppose, I've not seen sort of when this is set. Obviously, it's obviously set during the Galactic Civil War. It's set in the age of the Empire. But I'm not quite sure when. I've heard a few rumblings that could be set between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, based on the cutscene of Han Solo being in Carbon Freeze. But let's go to you, Kat. Sort of, what's your thoughts on where this game is going to take place in the timeline and how it can affect the canon?
No, the developers have specifically said that it is actually set between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, so that is the canon timeline. So this is the point where the Empire are at their height and the Galactic Civil War is ongoing. So this is a time when the crime syndicates are really taking advantage because there's corruption. The Empire are quite happy to let the pirates do their own thing, and there's quite a lot of lawlessness in the galaxy. So we're going to have crime syndicates that we've seen before that we know are powerful during this time, like the Pikes, like the Hutts. They've basically got their own areas of space that they can claim control of, and sort of the Empire turn their eye for the right bribe. They've also announced that we're going to be getting a new syndicate, the Ushiga clan, I think is how you say it, alongside the others. So it's going to be a great blend of canon and storylines we know, and it does seem to be taking from multiple areas of Star Wars. It's not just the films and television, because we're also going to be going to the planet Akiva. Most people might not know about this planet unless you have read the Aftermath trilogy, in which case you'll know it's where the Wexleys live. Snap Wexley obviously being Poe Dameron's co-pilot during the sequel trilogy. So it seems very rich and very immersive in storytelling. You can see that Ubisoft have worked closely with Lucasfilm and the Lucasfilm Story Group to get not only an authentic story, but also carve out sort of this new area of of the timeline where we're focusing much more on the syndicates. I think the underworld is something that Star Wars fans are fascinated by. We do love the crime syndicates and what's going on during these times. Bounty Hunters, currently by Ethan Sachs, is the ongoing Marvel comic series that's receiving a lot of attention because it's focusing on the scum and villainy that we all love. So the storytelling, there could be so much taken from the comics and books that we haven't seen yet, and I'm really excited by the possibility of what characters could turn up.
Yeah, because you got to think, set between the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is where a lot of the sort of War of the Bounty Hunters and is Crimson Empire set during this? Crimson Reign, sorry. I always get those two mixed up. Crimson Reign set during this time, Ian?
It is, yeah. Yeah, I was just going to mention that, yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, I'll definitely come back to you for more detail because I know you know that a lot better than I do. So, yeah, who's to say that, if you're, going to be getting involved with all these crime syndicates, and this is the same time when, the rebellion are getting involved with the crime syndicates, trying to get Han back and all the ins and outs of everything that's happening in all the other areas of canon, there's potential to sort of weave the story, into the wider story of the Star Wars characters we know and love from the movies and the comics and the novels as well, and truly make it interconnected, which, for me is when Star Wars at its best, is when everything just subtly connects and it all makes sense. Also, as George Lucas said, Star Wars like poetry rhymes. It's funny how, this is the time period this is set in June with the crime syndicates. It's very similar to Shadows of the Empire, which was, an awesome game from a long, long time ago. But yeah, let's go over to you, Ian. Obviously, timeline and canon. What's your thoughts on how this fits into the timeline and the canon?
Obviously, so I think there is a year between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And obviously in that year, you've had the War of the Bounty Hunters and you've had the Crimson Reign. I can't remember what the last one's called. I keep forgetting what the last one's actually called. I've read it. The Crimson, basically, and for people who haven't read that story, it is basically set just after the Empire Strikes Back, when Boba Fett has obviously taken Han Solo custody and he's on his way to Jabba's palace. He then has Han Solo stolen off him by people you don't know the story yet, but it turns out it's Crimson Dawn, led by Kira. She then announces Crimson Dawn's return to the galaxy. Obviously, they've been in hiding ever since whatever happened at the end of Solo, and obviously between Maul dying and all that. So she is the boss of Crimson Dawn. It obviously goes into Crimson Reign, and then the last Crimson comic, which obviously tells the rise and the fall of Crimson Dawn again, because Kira's plan overall is to destroy the Sith. Obviously, she's not successful at that because in Return of the Jedi, the Sith is still around. But however, she does survive the events of that comic. So yeah, no, it's pretty interesting. I wonder if we will get tie-ins to that, because I've seen obviously with other games before. I remember the Star Wars Battlefront 2 campaign. There was a lot of cuts to the TV shows and the comics and the books and all that type of thing. So I would really like it. Whether we get involved in the War of the Bounty Hunters or Crimson Reign or anything like that, whether we'll get involved in any of that. But no, it'd be hugely exciting to get involved and get mentions of that. As where it falls in the timeline, I think it's a perfect time to obviously explore the crime syndicate at this point. Because like Kat said, they're thriving at the moment, even though they are at war with one another as well.
Is it just me? I'm the only one who, when since Book of Boba Fett, I just really don't like the Pikes. So like, as soon as I saw them in the trailer, I was like, you Pikes, I can't wait till you guys get like shot at and that. I don't know, is it just me, or I hope it doesn't make us a racist towards Pikes, but I just don't like them. I don't like what they're about.
No, they're creepy in the Clone Wars as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in the Clone Wars, they are even more awful.
Yeah, they're the ones who killed Cypher Dyas, aren't they, in the Clone Wars? Remember that episode correctly? Yeah, because they hold his creepy assistant like hostage, don't they?
That's where they find his ship. Yeah, is on a Pike.
Yeah, the Pike's having killed. Yeah, obviously at the behest of Count Dooku.
Let's dive into sort of characters. So, Kat, I think you did quite a good job of talking about some of the characters earlier on. So let's just talk us through the characters you're excited to meet, and who we saw in the trailer.
So during the gameplay, we see that we're playing as main character Kay Vess, played by Umberly Gonzalez, and she is an outcast. She's an outlaw, and basically she's a scoundrel. So she looks like a very fun, interesting character to play. From the gameplay trailer, it looks like she's going to have multiple abilities. We see her being able to shoot different settings on her blaster, solve puzzles. She can have a stealth mode. She's got her speeder. She can pilot. So as a character, she is able to do a massively diverse range of different things. If you compare that to sort of Cal in Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, where you're basically just playing as the character and fighting. Like Cal doesn't really fly the ship. You don't get to fly the ship. You don't get to actively ride speeders. So this is going to be much more immersive in that sense, because Kay's character is literally doing everything. And she also has a great companion. She's got Nix, that we mentioned, who is voiced by D. Bradley Baker, who basically voices all of Star Wars at this point. I mean, he's like the godfather of Star Wars voiceovers. And Nix is a Mokal, which is a rare and exotic creature from a mysterious planet, according to the developers. And like I said, from the gameplay trailer, it looks like he's going to be sort of filling in the role of BD1. He's going to be able to solve puzzles, fetch things. He's also going to be able to attack. There is an attack command for Nix, which I can't really quite picture because he looks so cute in the trailer. But apparently he can attack. So that will kind of be interesting, but also semi-creepy to see, because I kind of don't want my cute image of Nix ruined. And then we've also got ND5, who is a BX commando droid. I think he's just partnered up with Kay for the particular job that we see in the walkthrough. I'm not convinced he's actually like Kay's droid, because it seems to me like Kay is very much a lone ranger. And if you also look very closely, he's a BX commando droid who the developers say served in the Clone Wars. And if you actually look at his torso, there's a massive cut across it, which looks like it could have come from a lightsaber. I don't know if either of you two saw that.
I have not, did you, Ian?
Yeah, I did, yeah, I saw that. I thought that as well, to be fair.
So I'm hoping there might be like a cutscene, like a flashback of Endy's, or maybe there's some kind of story for Endy's past. And that's sort of the main characters that we're getting. But it looks like we're going to get a very rich cast of ensemble characters from the syndicates. And there's Iain, who is the other character who offers Kay her big score?
Oh, you mean Kyle Katarn? He looks like Kyle Katarn anyway.
That guy. I don't know. Is he named in the trailer?
I think
he's named in the trailer. I can't remember what his name, but he's named in the trailer.
I think his name's Jace or something like that. I thought it was Kyle Katarn when he first came on. I'm not going to lie. Someone is taking the mick there because it looks exactly like Kyle Katarn. But yeah, no, I think his name's Jace. I'm sure it's Jace.
Okay, not to be confused with Jason Sindula. And he is offering Kay a massive score. So I'm assuming this is going to be kind of the storyline, even though this is an open world game. I'm assuming this big score is what you're working up to. And he's offering it alongside ND5. And that's kind of like all we know about the characters currently. So I think there's going to be a lot that they're keeping under wraps.
Well, this is just our first look. They've happened to give us a sort of a world premiere trailer and a gameplay at the same time. But this is our first sort of week of having this information and having this stuff to consume. Ian, any character details that you want to touch on and talk about?
His name's Jalen, by the way. I've just put the trailer on with closed captions. Jalen, that's his name, but he is Kyle Katarn. Character-wise, no, there's nothing really I can really say about characters. I did like that Mon Calamari, though. I think she was dressed. She had some swagger, that Mon Calamari, to be fair. Going back to what Kat said about the heist, I think the devs say that the overarching story for this is for Kay to pull off the biggest heist the Outer Rim has ever seen. That was something they kept saying in that interview. So I think that is obviously probably what the main story is leading towards.
Do you think it's like money, or do you think it could be like Sith artifacts, or what?
Well, in the cinematic trailer, I believe we see Cantonica, which is obviously Canto Bight. Are we going to be pulling off a casino heist or something like that? Or are they going to be trying to, like they did in Andor, they're going to try and steal a sector's payroll and all that type of thing? I don't know what it could be, but I am obviously seeing in the trailer, it looks a lot like Cantonica anyway.
And Kat, what did you say the little creature's called?
The little creature is called Nyx, and he's a Mercal.
Nyx. Right, so for me when I first saw Nyx, I just got excited, and I also felt, it's like very cute, and I like cute things, I like loth cats, things like that. Two guys. So, is it cuter than a loth cat, or is it not?
Ooh, tough question. I think Nyx is cuter, but that's mainly because I'm a dog person.
Ian, I know you're a dog person as well. Which is cuter, a loth cat or Nyx?
Nyx, man, hands down. Yeah, I don't think loth cats are that cute, to be honest. I don't. They're going to freak me out in live action, to be fair.
I'm on my own as a loth cat fan. On a t-shirt. No, I love Nyx. It looks cool. My worry is that a lot of blaster fire going all over the place in the trailer, and also in the gameplay footage. We've only had a little bit of this game. I just hope that Nyx can avoid all the blaster fire throughout the whole game.
Absolutely. Nyx is going to be fine. He's going to have like superpowers and going to be able to dodge every blaster bolt.
Moving on from characters, let's go to vehicles. I know, Kat, you spoke about the sort of the speeder bike. First up, when I saw the speeder bike, I liked the speeder bike design. It tied in sort of similar to the speeder bikes in the Book of Boba Fett. Not quite as done up, This was like a basic version, and on there quite like mod versions. That makes sense. But I enjoyed that. What was your thoughts, Ian, on sort of the speeder bike travel that we're going to be able to do on these open world planets?
Yeah, I think it looks really cool. I think the devs did say you need a speeder bike, otherwise it will take you too long to get from point A to point B. So that's a nice little touch. You know, I like the speeder bike. Like you said, it looks pretty basic. So I would assume that we will be able to upgrade that as we go. I think the devs did say something about that. They were pretty tight-lipped, but they said you'll find out more in July, I believe.
Yep, and that looks like not just will the speeder bike be used as a mode of transport, but looks like there could be some dog chases with the Imperial speeder bikes. We did see lots of Imperial speeder bikes as well. Are you excited to being chased and shooting down Imperial speeder bikes, Kat?
I don't know, because in Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens, I was terrible at the blaster battles, and that was just a little Lego game. So I'm a little bit nervous for the combat in this game. I just about learned combat in Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order, and now I'm concerned about the amount of blasters I'm going to have to be dodging. And don't get me started on the flying, because I was terrible at flying games. What was it? Rogue Squadron was the Star Wars video game we had, where you had to be a pilot. I was dreadful at that game.
Well, I'm sure once you get your hands on the controller, you'll be all right. Worst case scenario, just change the difficulty down to an easier one. That's my advice.
Let's hope there is different difficulties.
I imagine there is. But yeah, so I was excited to A, see the speeder bike, and B, we saw the Imperial speeder bikes that we know and love as well. So there's going to be, some trouble going on there. And again, the speeder bike reminded me of sort of Red Dead Redemption and traveling on a horse to the different towns and stuff. So that'll be fun. So not only did we see the speeder bike, but we also saw our main character's ship. I don't know what your thoughts were on the spaceship, Ian.
The spaceship is called the Trailblazer, which I just found out, which is cool. It looks, like I said, it looks quite basic to start with. I think the dev said something about in their little interview saying that she's quite a basic pilot to start with, so I assume you'll be able to upgrade your abilities as and when that goes. Just to having a game where you can take off, go into thing, get chased by TIE fighters, and then go into hyperspace continuously until you pull out the next system is anything I've ever wanted from a Star Wars game. So hugely excited for that. I did like the fact that if you were taking hits from the TIE fighters, that you couldn't go into hyperspace, your hyperdrive would power down. So that was a good little touch on that type of thing. So yeah, no, hugely excited for that.
Yep. And we also saw the at the beginning of the trailer, we saw the Rebel fleet and the Imperial fleet. The Rebel fleet included a sort of a Rebel blockade runner getting destroyed by a Star Destroyer. What were your thoughts on sort of seeing the Rebel fleet meet the Imperial fleet in this trailer, Kat?
That was an incredible moment. I don't know if that's going to be like a cut scene for the game or if it was just animated for the cinematic trailer, but it was a fantastic opening. I mean, and it did seem like the rebels were getting obliterated in that dogfight. It does make me wonder if maybe as playing as Kay, you'll be able to choose jobs either for like the Empire or maybe you'll be able to help the rebellion, and that will affect your reputation. Or if that was just sort of setting the scene in the fact that the galaxy is in such turmoil, you can take advantage of it by being a lawless scoundrel. So it's just so many possibilities there, really. And it's very interesting. I don't really want to have to be, running away from a Star Destroyer. I think I pull the line there.
Well, I wouldn't have you be able to hide on the back of the Star Destroyer like Han Solo did in Empire Strikes Back, maybe. Who knows?
That would be really cool.
Then you just have Boba Fett waiting for you.
Yeah, who is about in this game as well, so very much could be. Apart from, we've seen the speeder bikes, we've seen the main character ship, the Trailblazer, we've seen the Rebel fleet and the Imperial fleet. Obviously, we mentioned before, we saw in that sort of, that yard of, who knows where them ships have come from. The Pikes have probably stolen them and they're stripping them for parts. The mining guild TIE fighter, there's a A-wing there from the Rebellion, I imagine. Is there any other ships or vehicles that you guys saw that you're excited to see that I've missed?
I was excited to see the ATST on, I think it was Mirogana, or it may have been Tatooine, because we've only got a blaster, so I don't know how we're supposed to be taking down an ATST. And that was really cool because we're going to be down on the ground looking up at it. It's going to be quite threatening. So clearly, when the Empire does come after you, they are going to send everything after you if you get up to a good enough wanted level. So, love seeing the ATST.
Do you think if the ATSTs are able to come after you, then surely you must be able to steal them as well?
Ooh. Now that would be cool. I mean, I love stealing the AT-ACT in Jedi Fallen Order. So, yeah, give me some maximum firepower.
And for me, I would send Nix up the legs and climb in the top and eat them and then climb in.
I think Nix probably doesn't eat people, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's like Goose from Captain Marvel.
Maybe. Well, at least he can do some bites, I imagine. Some bites. You do some bites. You cause a bit of trouble in there. Ian, any vehicles that you're excited to see?
There wasn't really anything else I saw in the trailer, to be honest. I did like the fact that obviously when your wanted level comes down, a Lambda class shuttle obviously lands, and that's a pretty nice touch. But other than that, no, there's not really any more vehicles I can think of that I saw.
Is there any vehicles you think we might see sort of that haven't been shown yet? You know, we're going to have any run-ins with the Millennium Falcon, or could we even see Dash Rendor and the Outrider? What do you think?
I want all the old bounty hunters. So Slave One, the Outrider. I can't remember what Dengar's ship's called. Cad Bane's about. Oh, he is about as well. Oh, that's not a bad shout either. Yeah, did you do that new ship he had in the Bad Batch? I like that ship. It was cool. I'd be super excited. There's definitely stuff they haven't shown us. So, no, I'd be super excited.
Moving on to planets and locations. Ian, we'll stay with you. So, what's some of the best planets and locations that you saw in the trailer that you think we'll definitely be getting?
So I had a look on Star Wars Explained, who obviously had all the confirmed planets because he's obviously been to the press event. So he had Tashara, which is the main planet we saw in the trailer, which obviously acts as like a main hub. Looks a bit like Kobo in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. That's cool. So that's Tashara. Obviously, Akiva, like Kat mentioned, is a major part of this, especially the first Aftermath trilogy. Basically, what happens there is after the Battle of Endor, all the high-ranking Imperial officers have a meeting on Akiva, and some of them are caught, and Rey Sloane gets away and all that type of thing. So that's cool to see. Kijimi from the Rise of Skywalker, which I thought was a really cool planet in the Rise of Skywalker. Obviously, spoiler alert for anyone who's seen it, it gets destroyed in the Rise of Skywalker, but I'm pretty sure if you listen to this, you've seen the Rise of Skywalker. I do like the fact that we may be able to run into Babu Frick. You never know, on Kijimi. That'd be pretty cool. I also believe in the cinematic trailer that it was Cantonica, which is obviously the home of Canto Bight from The Last Jedi. And of course, the last one we definitely saw was Tatooine. And I, for one, will be more than happy if we can land at Mos Eisley, get on your speeder, go across the Dune Sea, dodge some Tusken Raiders, and then go to Jabba's palace and speak to Jabba himself. So I think that'll be really cool. If there's any planets I would like to see, I haven't been seen yet, I would like to see Nar Shaddaa, which is the Smuggler's Moon, if anyone is obviously familiar with the Star Wars comics. And if we're gonna obviously see Pikes in that, I would like to go to Obadiah, which is the Pikes' homeworld.
How do you feel about Tatooine, though? What if you left your speeder somewhere in Tatooine, the Jawas stole it?
I would love that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, go and get it back, eh?
Yeah. Mando style, yeah.
Kat, what's your thoughts on the planets and locations we've seen so far, and which ones do you want to see that we haven't seen?
Oh, I love the range of planets we're getting, and getting to see planets that have either been in the literature or not on screen for that long. So Kijimi, for those who don't know, you can get a bit more of a flavour for it from Force Collector, which is a great young adult novel in the Star Wars literature. The main character does go there, and we find out a little bit more about the planet. So that one's really cool. Definitely want to go around Cantonica. I hope I can gamble in Cantonica. I want to bet on some failures. And yeah, being able to go to all of these different places is going to be so interesting. I would, I would love to know how expansive each planet is going to be. How far can you explore on each planet? Can you go knock on Luke's door on Halloween? So that's going to be really interesting. As for planets I would like to see, I would love to go to like the 13 level of Coruscant. So go down into the Undercity. I think it would also be really cool if we could visit. What was it from now?
I would love to go to the Ring of Catherine, from Rogue One.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because there's definitely a lot going on there, and some of it's pretty shady. So that'd be pretty cool. I think for me, I'm glad it showed with some planets. I'm glad it showed with planets on like across the Star Wars universe, like different eras, time periods. I'm glad it hasn't showed us loads though, because obviously it allows our minds to wander. I think Coruscant Cat would be fantastic to go to. As I've said,
Batu, that's the other one. I'd love to go to Batu. I kept thinking Black Spire Outpost, Batu, because obviously that's where the Disney parks are, and we know that place is quite on the edge, so there's lots that can happen there. That would be the other one.
So would Maz Kanata's castle, I suppose.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely.
Moving on from planets and locations, I suppose, going back to the gameplay and sort of side quests being a big part of these open world games, in particular on Grand Theft Auto and in Red Dead Redemption. Some of the things I'm looking forward to is, you mentioned, Kat, about being able to sort of gamble in the casinos. For me, every cantina you should be able to play Sabak in, to allow you to play Sabak and try and make money. And it'd be good to actually get to play real Sabak against like the players in the game. Would be really cool. I think placing bets on pod races could be cool. And I think sort of taking on and collecting bounties on certain planets could be other side quests that could be really, really cool. Don't know what your thoughts are on side quests, Ian, what there could be in this game, but what are you looking forward to getting?
Definitely bounty hunting. I think that'd be cool. I think if we can go to Tatooine, betting on the pod racing would be really cool. That would be a cool little touch. Side quests in that. There's certain characters I'd like to see in the game. Obviously, we can get into that later, but side quests now, I think it'll be the usual bounty hunting. Take this to this person, do this to that. There was a really interesting thing the devs say that when you're in space, there will be surprises that present themselves to you. They didn't say what they will be, but there is surprises in space if you want to explore into space as well.
Fantastic. So you could come across pirates trying to raid you, maybe.
Maybe.
As long as there's no Drengia coming after her, we'll be alright. Is that right, Carl?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I wonder if in space maybe you come across asteroids that you can land on, or if you'll find perhaps the carcasses of ships and you can maybe look for artifacts on them, maybe.
Well, yeah, I think there's going to be lots of different sort of dimensions to this game. And I think collecting things is hopefully going to be part of it, because I love that type of thing, which could be really, really good. What sort of levels are you really looking forward to playing, Kat?
Ooh, it's kind of difficult to see whether this is sort of going to be levels or from quest to quest from the gameplay, but I'm definitely excited to be infiltrating, to stealthily infiltrate like Imperial bases or the Pike syndicates. You want to send me to steal something from the Empire, I will steal it.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, I'll steal anything from, as Ian said, we'll steal just pay, we'll steal ships, we'll raid the Emperor's observatories for artifacts, we'll do it all. So moving on, speaking of characters, is there any characters who you think would be great fits to sort of come across in this game, whether it be just in passing or whether it just be a name mention or whether it actually be fully interact with? What's some of the characters you really want to who you think could be added to this game that would fit the timeline? We'll go to you first, Iain.
So the first one I'd like to see is Dr. Aphra. I think that would be a really cool thing. I think Dr. Aphra's ready to make a step up onto the next level. Obviously, she's been in comics. She's obviously a hugely popular character because she's had 2 massive comic runs now. So they obviously sell well. So I think Dr. Aphra would be really cool. Another one I'd like to see is Prince Caesar of the Black Sun, if the Black Sun are in this game. Like you said, he made his debut in Shadows of the Empire back in the 90s. So for him to have his first on-screen appearance in canon, because he has been mentioned in one of the Crimson Reign comics, would be really cool to see him. He would fit, obviously, head of a crime syndicate. Dash Rendar along with him, because like I said, it's just Shadows of the Empire nostalgia for me. And there's been a crime syndicate that's been mentioned time and time again in the books, but we've never actually seen them, which is the Crimora and the Droid Gotra. And I think it would be good to actually see what the Crimora are and the Droid Gotra. And if that's the case, I don't know if anyone's been reading the comics now, but there's a new event coming called First It Comes From the Metal. And there's going to be a new bad guy, a droid by the name of Ajax Sigma, who basically wants to kill all humans. So that would be a cool thing to see as well.
Kat, who are yours? Who's your rogues gallery for you want in the game?
Like Iain, I want to see Dr. Aphra because she is the perfect fit for this game. And I can imagine she would bring a ton of chaos, even just as a name drop. I would love to see any of the bounty hunters. Perhaps not necessarily like Boba Fett, but some of the other ones, like Dengar or Forlom. I'd like to see Balot Valance. He's still alive in the comics.
I don't know how.
Yeah, for now. Ethan Sachs is putting that guy through hell and back multiple times. I think there is a chance maybe we might see Black Cursatan. That would be cool. Actually, speaking of, Fennec Shand should be around at this time as well. This is sort of the height of the bounty hunting era. So any of those characters would be amazing. And if they send the ISB after you in the wanted level, then I would love it to be like somebody in the ISB we know.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, if you come across the Empire, I think as you go throughout the game, maybe you get to meet more and more Imperials. I'd love to meet some more of the high-ranking officials, like whether you do come across Grand Admiral Ray Sloan and things like that would be really cool. I think for me, obviously, I don't know if they're a gang who come across later, but obviously, Kanji Club, who are a big part of, the Galaxy and the Force Awakens era. Obviously, we could cool to see them, I think, for me. It'd be cool to see those guys. Obviously, Balatik's a bit young in that movie, so I imagine he's not born yet, but maybe Balatik's dad is in Star Wars Outlaws, who knows.
Just stop you there, Pete. Isn't Balatik in the Dr. Aphra comic?
I don't know.
Sure he is. I'm sure I saw his name. Sure he is.
That's pretty cool if he is.
Sure he is.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Obviously, with it being an open world game, it lends itself to expansions, like more adventures added later. Usually at a cost, but I usually don't mind. If I get a really great game, then a year later I release more content for it. I'm usually more than happy to get it if it's good content. So, Iain, what's your thoughts on sort of expansions and more extra content for this game? DLC, I suppose, is the game I'd call it.
Well, I've been a massive Ubisoft fan for years, and obviously I've played the Assassin's Creed games, and they do offer season passes with DLC downloads and that type of thing. So yeah, no, I would be excited if we potentially got a story edition after we finish the game. That'd be a really cool little thing, depending on how the game goes and if we survive and all that type of thing.
Because they could add like new planets with new adventures on. It could give us different characters to players, I suppose, and sort of different adventures that tie into this. I suppose the sky's the limit, isn't it, with DLC? They could give us sort of any different kind of wonderful adventures, couldn't they?
Absolutely.
Kat, I don't know if you've got much experience with sort of downloadable content and extra, extra levels and extra planets and things that come with these type of games. But potentially, we could play this game and then they could release more more content that then allows us to sort of have different adventures with the same game, almost if we're getting like a sequel along with it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, DLCs are always exciting to get for a game. I think the only things that perhaps might be more challenging for Star Wars Outlaws is the fact that this game does fit within the canon. So they have to be careful that any extra content is written to also fit within the canon. So it becomes perhaps a little bit more complicated. Not to mention just the sheer levels of detail on the graphics. I mean, it's a lot to pour into downloadable content. But if they did, I mean, there is just such a range of things they could do. Arcanis is another plan that I've just thought that I would love to see more of. And I also think that maybe downloadable content will also depend on the sheer length of this game. I mean, if it's an open world game, then Star Wars Outlaws is hopefully going to provide us with hours of gameplay. I don't know how many we're thinking, but it looks like it's going to be over 30 hours of gameplay.
I'm just going to go big. Give us 60 hours, please. That's 60. 60 hours of gameplay, please, Ubisoft. Thank you.
Oof. Iain, how many hours do you think it's going to be?
Are you there, Iain?
Sorry, I didn't know. Sorry, I missed the call. How many hours do I think it's going to be?
Yeah, I'm saying 30. But
I can't remember I can't remember what Red Dead Redemption was, but if it's as long as Red Dead Redemption, I'll be happy.
Yeah, we'll see.
That was a long game. That took me ages to finish.
Well, here's one. So Red Dead Redemption was 2 discs, wasn't it, on PlayStation 4, if I remember correctly? How many discs do you think this... I mean, it'll be next gen, so it probably...
No, I think it'll be the one. I think it'll be the one, yeah, because obviously I think they're just starting now, because I've seen this with Starfield, they're just starting to build games for the new consoles, so I don't think this will be available on PlayStation 4 or like Xbox. I can't remember. I've got the newest Xbox, Series X. I can't remember all the different variations of Xbox. But yeah, I think this game is purposely being built for the next gen consoles. So I think that is why it will be obviously able to handle the game.
Definitely. Will you be looking to play a PlayStation or Xbox for this game, Iain?
I've got an Xbox at the moment. I am looking to get a PS5 before the end of the year, so I'll see how I like PS5 and then make my decision on that. But at the moment, it'll be Xbox because, like I said, I've only got a Series X.
What about you, Kat?
I am devoted to my PS5, so it will be on there.
Spot on. I think that's about wraps things up for sort of the things I had written down. Let's just look at sort of any Easter eggs or any details that you've spotted that we haven't spoke about yet. We'll go to you first, Kat. Anything that you spotted in the trailer or the gameplay that you want to talk about?
I think he's sort of the kind of thing I noticed is when Kay is talking to the Imperial officer that she's considering bribing, you can see that I think the ingots on the table are the same Imperial cred chips that you see in The Mandalorian.
Very cool. I did not spot that. That's very cool. What was the thing she stole? They were like blue pearls, but also maybe a fruit.
I think the developer said it's this rare kind of mollusk. I think she perhaps stole. I think they're actually like a kind of pearl.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Iain, any things that you spotted or saw in the trailer of the gameplay that you want to talk about that we haven't?
There is nothing I really spotted. The only thing that in the cinematic trailer, I'm sorry, but I'm just looking at a picture of him now. That guy looks exactly like Kyle Katarn, so that is a wind-up. That's the only thing I think of the trailer. It's just like him.
Paying homage to Kyle Katarn.
Maybe it might be him. It might be a fake name. We don't know.
That could totally be possible, like the big twist in the game.
It could be a Jedi. He's obviously could be a Jedi who's in hiding. It could still be Kyle Katarn. You never know.
Who knows? Who knows? How many Jedi do you think we'll see in the game or mention of the Jedi?
I think perhaps the only mention we might get are like artifacts that you can steal, Jedi artifacts or Sith artifacts. To me, this looks like it's going to stay very much true to the outlaw, outcast sort of vibe. So I think the mythos of Star Wars is probably going to be absent because, I mean, we've already had it twice now in Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor.
Definitely. Ian, is there any closing thoughts on any of the sort of promotional material that they've released for Star Wars Outlaws that we've had over the last week?
Nothing really. I'm just hugely excited that we're going to get to a place now where multiple studios are doing multiple games, and I'm huge. That just breeds more games for us, which obviously gives us more content to talk about. So I'm hugely excited. You've got a bunch of games that are in development that are reportedly soon going to be revealed. So I'm hugely excited for where gaming goes from now on. I'm hugely excited that, like I said, I enjoyed the Battlefronts. I've enjoyed the Jedi Survivor Fallen Order, and to be fair to Respawn, they are doing a first-person shooter and a strategy game based in Star Wars. So I'm excited to see what they do next. But I just think opening it up to everyone just gives us more. There'll be more Star Wars games made because people will want to make them.
Definitely, and I think for maybe the studio could learn from this because this game we didn't know about it until they had something awesome to show us, and it's like a year away from being released. So it's common knowledge about the amount of projects that they announce and writers and directors attached and titles and how many of them actually see the light of day. Not a lot in the current track record.
Well, let's be honest. Star Wars games are infamously notorious for being cancelled.
Yeah, so I think this is good. That maybe the studio could learn to just maybe keep some things in the wraps until they've got something awesome to show. Because this certainly hit hard because it come out of nowhere, and then we've got all these lovely visuals and gameplay to talk about, which I think is fantastic. Kat, any closing thoughts on any of the promotional material we've seen for Star Wars Outlaws this week?
I think they've done it in exactly the right way, surprising us like this and just giving us so much so quickly to enjoy. It's got me super excited for the game. Slightly trepidatious because Ubisoft are renowned for pushing back game release dates. So please let it be 2024. Maybe the success of this game will finally give us the Knights of the Old Republic remake we're all desperately waiting for.
Quite possibly. I do like Ubisoft a lot. They do put things back, like the wait till it's ready. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not Rockstar Games are the same. It's not ideal as a fan, but if you look at what happened to Cyberpunk and the absolute mess that was, it's like if you keep people updated and tell them the truth, usually you're going to keep the people when the product comes out nice and how you want it. People will buy it. I suppose the biggest thing, last thing I want to talk about is obviously, looks like we're going to get a really sort of awesome, huge galaxy-spanning story here in Star Wars Outlaws that is going to be canon, part of the timeline. Obviously, one thing Star Wars does well is it ties things in really well. We've seen books and comics tie into the sort of Jedi Survivor series. We've seen, in the past with Shadows of the Empire in the 90s, Ian, you've mentioned, a couple of Star Wars comics that sort of tie into this time period. Obviously exciting to see what sort of comics or books we might get that tie in. There might be a journey to the game series, maybe, like similar to what we did with the sequel trilogy movies. But, we could get comics or novels, audio books, telling us adventures about some of the characters we're going to meet in this series. I think that's really, really exciting. We'll go to you first, Ian. What do you think the chances of that happening are? And also, do you think we'll get something before the game is released, or do you think it'll be after?
I don't think we'll get any novels because obviously when Jedi Fallen Order came out, we didn't. But however, when Jedi Survivor came out, we did get Star Wars Jedi Battle Scars by Sam Maggs, which obviously told the story in between Fallen Order and Survivor. I'm not sure we'll get anything, but I would be obviously welcome to it if it did come out. You know me, I'd do like a Star Wars book. So no, I would be definitely interested in that. No, I don't think we'll get anything. I don't think we'll get like a Journey 2 like they do with the films, but I do think potentially after, if there was a sequel or anything, we could get a fill-in novel or something like
that. And same question to you, Kat. Obviously, I know you will love some extra content as well, especially comics. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think with the open nature of this game and because the storyline is driven by the decisions you make during the game, I think that would be hard to sort of tie in with comics or novels. So I don't think we're going to get like tie-in literature, but I I think Hasbro and Funko should jump on. I need a Nyx Funko Pop right now.
I need a Nyx Black Series. That'll be really good.
Yeah, Hasbro need to get onto that like right now for it to be available a year after the game release.
Yeah, I mean you could do it awesome step where you do K with Nyx with the speeder bike. Boom! I'll pay £35 for that. I'll pay more actually, 45. There you go. I think that brings an end to sort of all of my thoughts anyway, and all the thoughts I had about this awesome trailer and also the awesome gameplay footage that they released. Ian, any closing thoughts before we wrap it up and say goodbye?
No, hugely excited. Like I said, I was ready for a new Star Wars game. Just finished Survivor, and I want more, like any true Darksider would. So no, I'm really excited for it. I'm glad they showed gameplay. I'm glad it just wasn't a cinematic trailer. So I'm glad we've seen what the actual game will look like. So I'm hugely excited with that. And yeah, just hugely excited in general.
And same to you, Kat. Any closing thoughts before we wrap it up?
I'm still exploring Jedi Survivor to get it to 100%, and I definitely want more. So I can't wait for this game.
It's going to be awesome. And then I'm going to do a little would I lie to you. So obviously somebody's missing today. Good old Jason Hondoling is missing. I heard he's actually refusing to talk about this game because Hondo Anaka was not in the trailer. Could that be true? Who knows? We'll find out.
He's got to be in the game, surely. Just going back to characters, sorry. He's got to be in the game.
I would think so, yeah. I mean, yeah. I made that up, but I think Jason would love it if Hondo was in the game. And I think we all would love it if he was in the game. And why would he not be? Even if you just do like a couple of missions at the start. I imagine it'll give you like beginner missions to start. Like, when it gives you, any game gives you like your first like training levels.
Yeah.
So obviously he does quite small time stuff, doesn't he, Hondo? So maybe you'll do a couple of missions with him at the beginning, a couple of jobs for him. That like before you get into like the thick and dirt of the actual story, maybe.
Yeah, I'd like that.
And Kat, I'm sad to say, but there will be no Ben Solo in this game because of when it is set.
Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Hang on, I managed to get through Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order without any Ben Solo references, so I can survive just about.
Just about. Although that brings it into the episode. Let's go to you, Kat. Where can the lovely people find you on social media to interact with?
You can find me at Kat Kylo on Twitter, where I'm always happy to talk Star Wars, Lego, and anything Ben Solo.
Ian, where can the wonderful listeners find you on social media to chat Star Wars with?
You can find me on Twitter at The Mandalorian, and that's where you can find me.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Joy Jedi Pete. You can find the podcast on Twitter at BorsStar, and you can find the podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Star Wars Podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a top review. It just makes us all smile here at Star Wars HQ, and it also helps people find the podcast. If you're listening on any other different type of podcast supplier, if that gives you a rating system, again, just leave us a top rating. Again, makes us all smile when we say it, and obviously helps people find the show. That is all. May the Force be with you all, and remember, always tell that to Kanja Club.
Hello, Star Wars listeners. This is Savannah Odit. You might know me as host of The Dorky Diva Show with my co-host Brian Balance. I am also producer of The Adventures of the Zolan Dart, which is a Star Wars-inspired audio drama that we produced over the last year. If you love stories about smugglers, courage, heroic characters, and maybe a few foes along the way, you should go to thedorkydivashow.com and listen to The Adventures of the Zolan Dart today.
Shout! We've got your pigs.
Were any of the critters harmed?
What did you do now?
I didn't do anything. I just freaked out for no reason.
It was nice doing business with you again. Maybe next time we could deliver something less temperamental.
Now, what you call temperamental, I call fun.
Hey, is there a place nearby where I can make some repairs?
3 clicks south of here, you'll find a small spaceport. They should have what you need, as long as it's nothing too big.
Dynamic class? My stars, you don't hear about many of those still being space-worthy.
It's been in my family for a while.
She's pretty great. Any chance you have a hover cart we can use to load up?
I'll check out the HoloNet to see if anything new has come up in the sector.
My name is Sereth Khan. I am the chief here on Kamai. My people and I have been experiencing food shortages as of late due to unforeseen natural occurrences. We are looking to hire someone.
I say we take this one. The pay is great, and it's the type of job we're familiar with.
Welcome. You must be Captain Otoa. I've already sent word to Pack 2 to expect you in the next cycle or so.
You told him we were coming before we even accepted the job. That's rather presumptuous, isn't it?
Perhaps, though once I received confirmation that you were interested and on your way here, I couldn't help but hope.
Fair enough. Well, we'll be back as soon as we can.
Well, that's not good.
Is that blaster fire I hear?
So you're the one.
Captain, it sounds like they want to do this the hard way.
I love when they got some fight in them.
This is bad. This is bad. We're about to have a lot of company.
I'll see you soon.